The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
That very day, the first day of the week, two of Jesus' disciples were going to a village 7 miles from Jerusalem called Emmaus. And they were conversing about all the things that had occurred. And it happened that while they were conversing and debating, Jesus himself drew near and walked with them. But their eyes were prevented from recognizing him. He asked them, "What are you discussing as you walk along?" They stopped, looking downcast. One of them, named Cleopas, said to him in reply, "Are you the only visitor to Jerusalem who does not know of the things that have taken place there in these days?" And he replied to them, "What sort of things?" They said to him, "The things that happened to Jesus the Nazarene, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word, before God and all the people. How our chief priests and rulers both handed him over to a sentence of death and crucified him. But we were hoping that he would be the one to redeem Israel. And besides all this, it is now the 3rd day since these took place. Some women from our group, however, have astounded us. They were at the tomb early in the morning and did not find his body. They came back and reported that they had indeed seen a vision of angels who announced that he was alive. Then some of those who with us went to the tomb and found things just as the women had described, but him they did not see." And he said to them, "Oh, how foolish you are! How slow of heart to believe all that the prophets spoke. Was it not necessary that Christ should suffer these things and enter into his glory?" Then beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them what referred to him in all the scriptures. As they approached the village to which they were going, he gave the impression that he was going farther. But they urged him, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening and the day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them, and it happened that while he was with them at table, he took bread, said a blessing, broke it, and gave it to them. With that, their eyes were opened, and they recognized him. But he vanished from their sight. Then they said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he spoke to us on the way and opened the scriptures to us?" So they set out at once and returned to Jerusalem, where they found gathered together the 11 and those with them who were saying, "The Lord has truly been raised and has appeared to Simon." Then the two recounted what had taken place on the way and how he was made known to them in the breaking of the bread. Brothers and sisters, the Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Please be seated.
Marahil ay magtataka tayo, no? Bakit hindi kaya nakilala nila kaagad ang Panginoon? Ano kaya ang itsura ng Panginoon nung siya ay nagpakita sa kanila at nung siya ay mabuhay na maguli? Sapagkat sila ay mga alagad ng Panginoon, marahil ay alam na alam nila, no, bawat hugis o anggulo ng kanyang mukha, no, kanyang tinig ng kanyang boses, no? Subalit, pagkatapos ng kanyang muling pagkabuhay, ay hindi siya makilala ng kanyang mga alagad. Unang-una si Maria Magdalena na pumunta doon sa libingan at nawala siyang makita, no? At nang nakita niya doon ay ang anghel na nagsabi sa kanya na wala siya rito sapagkat siya ay nabuhay na maguli. At si Maria nung makita nga na walang laman ang libingan, siya ay doon sa labas at humihikbi, lumatangis, umiiyak, nalulungkot. Balot na balot ng kalungkutan, at habang siya ay umiiyak, lumapit sa kanya ang Panginoon at nagpakilala, no? Marahil ay hindi niya nakilala, no? At kanyang tinanong, no? Inakala niya ni Maria Magdalena na ang Panginoon ay isang hardinero, kaya tinanong niya, "Saan niyo ba dinala ang kanyang katawan? Ituro niyo sa akin upang maayos ko ang kanyang katawan, maalagaan ko." No? At hindi napagtanto ni Maria na ang kanyang kausap ay ang Panginoong mismo na nabuhay na maguli. ang kanyang pagkakilala o kanyang nakita, ayon sa kanyang pagkakaalam, ay kinakausap niya ang hardinero hanggang sa siya ay tawagin ng Panginoon sa kanyang pangalan, Mary. And Mary remembered, the very voice of Jesus. Only when she looked up, she found and she recognized Jesus. And in today's gospel, ganun din, dalawa sa mga alagad ng Panginoon, nakatungo din. Marahil ay balot din ng kalungkutan, ng panghihinayang, at marahil ay halos mawala na ng pag-asa na sabi ay siya mabuhay na maguli. Subalit 3 araw na nakalilipas, wala pa rin nangyayari. May mga balita mula sa mga babae na pumunta sa libingan, subalit hindi pa rin namin siya nakikita. At ang Panginoon ay sumama sa kanila, sumabay sa kanilang paglalakbay, 7 miles, about 11 to 12 kilometers, from Jerusalem to Emmaus. Ganun kahaba yung kanilang paglalakbay, at doon din sa kanilang paglalakbay ay kasabay nila ang Panginoon. At sa buong paglalakbay na iyon ay hindi nila nakilala ang Panginoon, na ang mismong Panginoon ay nagpaliwanag sa kanila ng kasulatan mula kay Moises hanggang sa mga propeta. And Jesus was explaining to them all the references about Him. And yet, despite this explanation, this story along the way, in the journey of that 12-kilometer journey, they were not able to recognize the Lord. Only, when they invited the Lord to enter the house and have dinner with them, when the Lord lifted up the bread and blessed it and shared it with them, when they looked up, that they recognized it is the Lord. He has been with us all throughout this journey, and yet we did not recognize Him. And yet, the moment they recognized the Lord, He vanished. And so, He went to the other disciples, and all of them have confirmed He is raised from the dead. So, ano kaya ang pinapangaral sa atin? Ano kaya ang sinasabi sa atin ng Ebanghelyo ngayon? Bakit ba hindi natin basta-basta? Parang tayo rin ito na hindi agad-agad na nakikilala at namumukhaan natin ang Panginoon sa mga taong nakakasalamuhan natin. Bakit? Sapagkat madalas, si Maria at ang dalawang alagad ay nakatingin sa lupa. They were stooping down. Nabalot sila ng kalungkutan, nabalot ng paghihinagpis, nabalot ng panghihinayang, marahil nabalot din ng takot. At minsan, ang takot, ang kalungkutan, ay nakakabulag. Nawawala tayo. Hindi tayo nakakapag-isip ng maayos, hindi tayo nakakakilala ng maayos. Kapag tayo malungkot, kapag tayo ay puno ng panghihinayang, tayo ay nakatutok sa lupa. When we are lonely, we stoop down. And we keep looking on the earth, on the soil. And one time and again, we are always reminded, the soil is the burial place of all of us. And when we look at the soil and the earth, the Lord is no longer there. The tomb is empty. Only when we are able to look up, when they were able to lift their heads up, they were able to see and recognize the Lord. Marahil ay ganun din ang paalala sa atin ng Panginoon, wala sa lupa, kundi ang pagkabuhay na maguli ay ang pag-akyat ng ating Panginoon sa langit. His glorified body does not belong here on earth. And we cannot find Him looking on earth, but we could only find Him and recognize Him if we look up, if we raise our heads up. Kaya nga sinasabi natin, itaas mo ang iyong ulo, taas noo. Bumangon ka sa kabila ng mga pagsubok, sa kabila ng mga trahedya sa buhay natin. Lift up your heads and you will find hope. You will find more meaning in life. You will find a better future. Only if we lift up our heads. And this is what the Lord is telling us. Only we can recognize Him. Not really as Him, that Jesus that we know in our minds, but Jesus is present in all of us. Kaya makilala natin ang Panginoon kapag tayo ay mayroong pananampalataya. And with the eyes of faith, that is the only time we can see Jesus and each other. Sa mukha ng bawat taong nakakasalamuhan natin. Kaya kailangan maging handa tayo. No? Handa tayo kailanman o saan man o kahit sino man, no, ang makakasalamuhan natin, hindi natin alam. The Lord is already with us. And yet we keep looking for Him. But all the way, all throughout this journey, sa ating kalungkutan, sa ating takot, sa ating mga galit, no? Sa lahat ng pangyayari sa buhay natin, the Lord is just being with us along the way. And yet we fail to recognize Him because our eyes are always covered by hatred, covered by loneliness, covered by hopelessness. And so we open our eyes of faith so that we can see Jesus once again. He is no longer in the tomb. He is no longer here on earth. We look up, and only upon looking up that we will see God present always in our lives.